here, always local.
So what's the announcement this morning?
So my Department of Energy has announced we're going to return over $13 billion to the taxpayers. That's over $100 per American family. This was money passed and slated to be energy subsidies. But we need the subsidies have been corrosive because they've not only cost taxpayer money, but then they've led to more expensive electricity bills. We lose twice. So we're doing everything we can in the Trump administration to stop the rise in energy prices.
So money that was going to go to green energy, to subsidize green energy, is instead going back to the Treasury?
Yes.
So I thought that green energy was going to be like an all of the above, like a part of the energy dominance platform. Is this take it off the table? What's going on?
With green energy, and again, I don't agree with the name, but with solar and wind and electric vehicles, which is where most of the money has gone, they've just barely gotten to 3% of United States energy and 2.5% of global energy. So it's just been a massive malinvestment.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. So that was the Energy Secretary talking about how there is a surplus in the Department of Energy that has been returned to the budget. So we're starting to see more of these things from different departments, and I think that's very exciting because what we have done with DOGE, whatever you think about DOGE, what we have done is we have changed the trajectory of how people are thinking about spending our money. And if they have surpluses, they're returning them to the budget. And right now we are running, it's not where I want it to be, okay? But we are running about $150 billion less this year's fiscal year than what we spent last fiscal year. And we're starting to see this. Now, we got to get to where it's $1.5 trillion less with a combination of growth and cuts and that kind of thing. But we're in the right direction. Instead of just making the deficit bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, we are making the deficit smaller on the way to no deficit. And then once we get to no deficit, then we can start paying off the debt. And that's got to be a combination of growth and other things. Now, there's so much stuff going on in the news today, and there's a lot of competing stories. I mean, you've got the text message that was released by the president of Norway and the president of Finland, the text exchange between President Trump and them on Sunday, which really doesn't make the president look very good. Now, you know how I feel about this kind of stuff. I don't think that I think that people like these prime ministers and the president of the United States should have some kind of ability to have conversations without worrying that they're going to get released to the public. But the president of Finland, the president of Norway may be prime minister. I may have that wrong. They got together and said, no, I think we need to release that. Because the president said basically, because you didn't give me the Nobel Prize, I don't feel inclined to work for peace with you anymore. Now, I think this is a tactic that Trump is using. But again, I regularly criticized President Obama for the I way he approached things. When he came out and spoke, it was always, I did this and I did that and I am doing something else. And I thought it was too narcissistic at the time. So I can't, in good conscience, not call out when the current president is always talking about himself, that his feelings were hurt that he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, instead of what's best for the country. Now, I do think Greenland and access to Greenland is a national security thing that has to happen for us. It's kind of the way Alaska protects our west side and Greenland can protect our east side. Now, whether it's a country that we own or a country that we just have access to, I don't know what the best thing is. They'll be negotiating. But we also know for President Trump that he always throws out some ridiculous statement and then he comes back from it and he ends up getting more than what he originally hoped to get by doing that. So it's kind of the world we live in. But I really, and I know you guys get mad at me. You think I criticize him too much, all this stuff. But really, it's not about him. And he says it's about the American people. He says he wants what's best for all of us. But it's starting to sound a little bit like you got to play to me as a person, and I got to like you or else we're not going to do anything together. And that's just not the way leadership is. So I'm going to give him a break here. And I'm going to say that this is a tactic he's using to get what he wants ultimately. He's going to Davos today. He's going to sit down with all of these people. The Prime Minister of Italy has been his big cheerleader, where she said, look, guys, we've got to discuss this situation. You were perfectly willing to have conversations. We've got to have these conversations. I love it that it's a woman that's taking charge and trying to get everybody to be reasonable, okay? So they're going to Davos. They're going to meet face to face. You're going to hear a lot that's untrue coming out of that meeting. And what I've learned, I've thought this in the age of social media, but we're seeing it in real time here, that we can't believe anything we hear initially, which is really a bad place to be. But wait and see what ultimately happens before you make judgment. So it's interesting. I was listening to Greg Hurwitz, who is a novelist, but also he's a professor, and he was talking on this podcast called Trigonometry. And I would highly recommend that podcast because they are people from sort of outside the political process, but they talk to people inside the political process, and they ask the questions that you and I would ask. And they have long-form discussion, but they talk to everybody. And this Greg Hurwitz, the research that he's done related to how social media is controlling what we think, and that the less time you spend on it, the better off you are. And look, I'm as guilty as anyone else. I know it's good for me to be on social media so you guys see what I'm talking about and hear what I'm saying. And I've thought since 2004, I need to be on social media because it helps promote my show. And that's all true. But it sucked us into this universe that only gives us what we agree with and the most radical versions of what we agree with, and doesn't really talk the way most of us really talk. And about 60% of the interactions you have may not even be real people. Now, I've always had the rule that if you don't have an actual name that I can look up, I don't engage with you. I never answer comments, or rarely answer comments on social media, because I don't really have a belief that it's a real person. But even that is a hard thing to do, because I have gotten some messages from people that I know that when I've followed up on them, I'm like, hey man, you've got my number. Why are you sending me a message like this? And it turns out they didn't do it. So it can't be completely trusted. And the more you can keep your children away from it, the better off their lives are going to be. And we'll talk a little bit at the end of the show when we talk about fun stuff about the whole Brooklyn Beckham blow up. You might not even know what I'm talking about, but it's another privileged kid who's been living his life on social media that has decided to air his dirty laundry in public. And you know what? Families aren't perfect. I don't care who they are and how pretty they look in their pictures. I remember being at Disney World when I was going through a really difficult time, and I was so down because everybody looked happy. Everybody looked happy, and I wasn't very happy at that time. And I had to tell myself, somebody that was a friend of mine in faith told me this, and I remembered it all the time. That's a two-dimensional picture. That's not what's going on when you close the door. So don't assume that just because everybody looks happy on social media that they're so happy and you're not, okay? So there's a lot to talk about. But I want to also remind you about something very important that's going on in Georgia. Today, if you have friends and neighbors that are in Middle Georgia, you need to get on the phone to them and remind them to go out and vote in this special election. There's another special election going on today to replace former state Senator John Kennedy. And there are 5 Republicans and 1 Democrat, and the Democrats are very motivated to get out. So don't let this seat be decided by 4% of the people because it's a special election. Make sure you get out there and you vote if you live in the area. If you know people that live in the area, call them and remind them to go out. I guarantee it'll take them 2 minutes to just stop by and vote and at least have the person represent you. Now, these special elections are terrible because these people are only going to hold these offices till November. They've got to qualify again. They got to run again. I don't like it when these candidates quit their office because they want to run full time, because all it does is cost the taxpayer money. But this is where we are. So Middle Georgia, the seat that former Senator John Kennedy held in Macon, is up for a special election today. Polls opened at 7 o'clock. We'll take a break.
When you need news anytime, day or night, get it from the source that's been delivering local news digitally for a quarter of a century. Go with AccessWDUN.com and the Access WDUN app, powered by North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
With the start of a new year, it's also the start of spring prep. The best thing you could do right now is to get your equipment work ready so you won't have any downtime. That's why Howard Brothers trusts Kawasaki parts, the parts that keep your equipment running at peak performance. Whether you're gearing up new projects or maintaining your machines, Kawasaki parts keep your engines running stronger, longer. Stop by Howard Brothers for the Kawasaki parts you need to get the job done right. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Kawasaki and Howard Brothers.
Matt Hayes here from Hayes Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Baldwin with some serious savings on the great lineup of vehicles here at Hayes. And just to name a few, $6,500 off 26 Chrysler Pacificas, $9,000 off 25 Dodge Durangos, and $11,000 off 25 Jeep Wranglers. And trucks, well, we got the trucks. $10,000 off MSRP on 26 Ram 1500 Bighorns, and $13,000 off MSRP on 25 model Ram 2500 HD trucks. Refresh your driveway with one of these new deals from Hayes of Baldwin. And hey, ask about our free lifetime powertrain warranty.
You wouldn't want someone you couldn't trust working on your family's HVAC and plumbing, so why would you call anyone but Gainesville Mechanical? They're your local, most trusted and award-winning HVAC and plumbing company in North Georgia. From maintenance appointments and clogged drains to plumbing emergencies and new system installations, their team is ready to serve you. And with their customer assurance maintenance plan, you can receive discounts, priority scheduling, and 24/7 no overtime rates. Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes since 1989.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, a new executive director for the Humane Society of Northeast Georgia provides nearly 20 years of experience for nonprofit group leadership. Details at Access WDUN. And coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System Studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
How you got here, and you won't admit that that is the reason why we're this isn't about immigration. It isn't about ICE. It isn't about Trump. It is about suicidal empathy that is driven by a rescue fantasy. You have all of these young middle-aged women going out there because they have some kind of emptiness in their lives, that are going out there in this kind of rescue delusion, helping people they don't know, strangers who are guilty of crimes. How can you defend that? This is not protesters going to a church. That is a mob. The people that invented the phrase safe spaces are breaking it up, frightening kids, right? These are the people that call us fascists, and they're hunting people.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and that was Greg Gutfeld. And I mentioned about the Greg Hurwitz episode of Trigonometry, and he talked about just that thing, how, I believe there's two sides to every level of communication. There's a good side, which is you can connect with your friends that you haven't talked to for years. You can stay in contact with people. You can do all those kinds of things. But the bad side is you hear about everything that happens in the world immediately. You think for some reason you need to do something about everything that happens in the world immediately, and you can't. So what they talked about is what is a healthier way to approach this kind of stuff. Is say you're watching something about churches being invaded in Minneapolis, and you can't do anything about that, but you could volunteer at your own church, or you could help someone that you come in contact with. We're going to talk after the bottom of the hour about the gala for my sister's place. That's one of those community things that people can get involved in and help people in their own community. Make that difference in your own place, because I'm a firm believer that if you take care of you and yours, if you take care of your own backyard first, and I don't mean literally your own backyard where all you care about is yourself. I mean your community, the people that you know, the people that are out there, and maybe people even that you don't know, that you come in contact with that you don't realize. It's a nice time that I've gotten to an age where I'm starting to have people reconnect with me and tell me things like, wow, when I was 20 years old, you helped me with X, and I just want you to know how much that meant to me. I'm telling you what, that is like one of your best days when something like that happens, because it's completely serendipitous. You didn't go looking for it, but you got it back. That happened to me recently, a young girl that was going through a really difficult time, and, and I didn't get involved in her business, but I opened my home up to her and her friend, and we carved pumpkins, and I was available to talk when she had a problem, and those kinds of things. And I knew from following her on social media that she was going through some pretty dramatic stuff that I didn't understand or agree with. But instead of taking that position of trying to tell her what to do, and this is what I'm trying to do, I'm not always successful, I just was kind to her. And you know what? She worked through the whole thing herself, and it was a very long journey for her. But she got back to where she wanted to be, and she reached out to me just randomly. I hadn't heard from her in like 4 years. And she just said, I just want to get together with you, and we did, and she appreciated the things I'd done for her. I'm not saying that to build myself up. I'm saying you don't know the impact that you have on people just by being kind and by listening. And when I look at what's happening in Minneapolis, I see so many mistakes that are being made on an interpersonal level, if you want to get all, talky about it. You've got people that at the very core of this, there is a state government that refused to cooperate with the federal government to enforce federal law. You may not like the way that looked. You may not like what you see every night. But at the core of this, for whatever reason, in the last 6 or 8 years, we have lost our minds, and we have started saying, well, I'm going to enforce this law and not that law. Well, I'm just going to quote Nathan Deal about this. And I use this quote in my book, Indivisible Uniting Values for a Divided America, that I wrote 20 years ago, by the way, and we have the same problems that we had 20 years ago. And he said, Martha, and it was regarding immigration, you've got to enforce the law or change it. You can't have a wink and a nod policy that we're going to enforce these laws and we're not going to enforce those laws. On the West Coast, a lot of jurisdictions have said, oh, well, if you steal less than $1,000, then we're not going to do anything to you. And what that has led to is a whole bunch of stores that are getting up to $1,000 stolen from them, and they're leaving those cities because Yeah, it may not be that the kid's going to be prosecuted. And I'm saying a kid, it could be a grown-up. The kid may not get prosecuted, but the store is still losing $1,000 at a pop of merchandise that they're not going to get back. And pretty soon their insurance isn't going to cover them anymore because they've had too many claims. And they're left with the only choice but to close up in a neighborhood where they probably need the services of whatever that store is. I can't stand going into a CVS in a big city and everything, including deodorant, is behind a glass cage because they're afraid that $1,000 worth of stuff is going to get stolen and they're not going to be able to continue doing business. So it started with that. And then when this fraud got uncovered and they started acting on that, again, the local police took the position, we're not going to help the federal government. Well, if you're a constitutionalist, the federal government trumps everything, no pun intended. And you've got to cooperate. If you don't like it, send people to Congress to change the laws and how they do it. That's all you have to do. So we got to enforce the laws or change it. But you know what? While I'm going to be empathetic for what's going on in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I'm a lot more concerned about what's going on right here in Gainesville, Georgia, or in Atlanta. I was shocked to see that they were looking for a 16-year-old boy in Atlanta a couple of days ago who was considered armed and dangerous. And they said on the TV report, do not interact with him if you see him. He is armed and dangerous. And I thought, how does a 16-year-old get to the point that they're so dangerous that there has to be a BOLO report put out on him and the world's got to come to an end until he's found? That's a problem we need to take care of in our own community. We'll be back.
It's WDUN's Bill Main inviting you to join me September 28th as we journey to sunny Portugal with Colette and Peach State Bank and Trust. We'll explore Europe's old world charm, spending multiple nights in charming Porto and the amazing Algarve coast. We'll walk the cobblestone streets and cruise the scenic Douro River from the colorful capital of Lisbon to the stunning cliffs and whitewashed villages of the Algarve. We'll visit the breathtaking shoreline of the Portuguese Riviera and see ancient castles, groves of orange and almond trees. Plus, we'll visit the quaint villages of Lagos, Sintra, and Cascais. Then there's the famous wine, savory foods, and beautiful beaches. Plus, we'll visit a family-owned cork factory. Yeah. Colette covers all the details, flights, meals, hotels, all of that. We just need to have a good time. So don't miss out. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or visit WDUN.com for full details.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
Are you frustrated with your contacts? Have your glasses become more of a burden? Well, don't suffer. Hi, this is Kim. Here at Advanced Eye Center, we offer all laser LASIK to free your eyes. When you consider not only the amount of money you pay for all of that eye gear, but also the amount of time you spend handling contacts, glasses, cases, solution, and eye drops, how can you not afford to have LASIK? Invest in you. Save your money, save your time at Advanced Eye Center. Vision correction for all ages.
Get breaking news fast. Sign up at accesswdun.com for breaking news alerts via text. Log on to accesswdun.com for details and to sign up. You can also sign up to receive local weather and sports alerts. Get the news first with breaking news text alerts from Access WDUN and North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. Calming the waters from the U.S. to Greenland to Britain, Mike Johnson becomes the first sitting House Speaker to address Britain's Parliament.
I told the President that I felt that my mission here today was to encourage our friends and help to calm the waters, so to speak, and I hope to do so.
Saying we each need to attend to our national defense, and a deal will be worked out with Denmark over acquiring Greenland after President Trump roiled the waters on the way to the Davos Economic Forum.
We have to have it. They have to have this done.
they can't protect it.
Markets bracing for big losses over Trump escalating tariff threats on Europe until the Greenland deal is done. As we await the Supreme Court decision on his tariff authority, and despite widespread Minnesota anti-ICE protests, the ICE operation has rounded up some 3,000 illegal migrants in Minnesota. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and an overnight fire displaces at least 20 occupants from an apartment complex in Gwinnett County. WDUN's Logan Landers reports.
Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Services sent several units to the Cortland Duluth apartment on the 1300 block of Harrington Road Northwest after 11:50 p.m. for several reports of smoke inside a 3-story structure. Gwinnett Fire Captain Ryan McGibney's release early Tuesday indicated that upon their arrival, several residents were trapped on upper floors. That forced ladder and ground crews to initially focus on rescuing all occupants. No serious injuries were reported after 3 people were treated and released on site. The American Red Cross is working to aid the displaced residents. Cause for the fire is under investigation.
There is a new executive director for a Gainesville-based animal shelter, and WDUN's Caleb Hutchins has this report.
The Humane Society of Northeast Georgia announced Monday that it's hired Sandy Holliday as its new executive director. Holliday was named to the role by the shelter's board of directors after she recently joined the organization last month. The Humane Society says Holliday brings 18 years of experience in working with nonprofits to the role, most recently leading North Fulton Community Charities.
And you'll find more news by going online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN Tuesday forecast.
Good Tuesday morning, North Georgia. Mostly sunny skies continue. We will end up in the mid-40s this afternoon. Then getting into this evening and tonight, mostly clear skies. Cold again, mid-20s by early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
Right now in Alto, currently 30 degrees. In Homer, 32. And in Gainesville, 31 degrees. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
While technology has certainly changed the way people do business, it hasn't changed the way we treat our customers. It's Mike Cormier, and at Hardy Chevrolet, we are as committed to excellent customer service as the Hardys were when they started the business here in Gainesville over 4 decades ago. When it's time for a new or used vehicle, remember what Charles Hardy always said.
We love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Brownsbridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
It's getting cooler, and that means those outdoor pests want to be indoor residents. While a tube of caulk goes a long way to keep them out, Select Pest Control can make sure they don't leave alive. Select can put down a residual barrier that keeps the pest out. And if you want to do it yourself, they'll put the right product into your hands and make sure you know how to use it. Find out more at selectpest.net, or better yet, visit the Select store at 1786 Brownsbridge Road and tell them Todd Stern sent you.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and I'm so happy to welcome Angie Brooks from my sister's place here, because Angie and I are going to be involved in a really big thing next week, and we just wanted to tell you a little bit about it. Welcome, Angie.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. This is very exciting.
So tell us first about My Sister's Place.
So My Sister's Place is a faith-based shelter for women and children experiencing homelessness. The ladies come to us from all over North Georgia. We take excellent care of them while they're with us, and we help them return to stability.
And so what does that look like?
Wow. So it's a 90-day program. We help them with very practical things like food and clothing, transportation assistance if they need it to go to interviews and that sort of thing. But the goal is to help them increase their income so they can go find an apartment and live on their own again and be contributing members of society, if you want to put it that way. So we help them with life skills classes, job readiness classes, building their resume, getting either a better job or maybe a second job, just something to help them with their housing situation. We help them navigate government housing, low-income housing. That can be very complicated, certainly very hard to do if you're living in your car trying to do it on your phone. Most of the ladies that do come to us are working, but they've had to choose between maybe a car repair that was really high, and they had to choose between that or paying their rent, so they decided to do the car repair. Yeah, they need the car to get to work, so they're going to work and their kids are going to school, but then they're sleeping in their car and the kids are getting dressed in the bathroom at, like a big box retail store and going to school like that, trying to study in the car. It's just an impossible way to live. So they come to us and we help them get stable and help them. We have a computer available to them and a case manager and shelter advocates that all kind of really rally around them. They pray with them, they encourage them, they take them, like I said, to their interviews if they need that assistance. They help them sign up. Many of them are not aware of benefits that are available to them like SNAP, which is kind of surprising that they wouldn't be aware of that. Or there's child care assistance that can be available to them that they're not aware of. So we try to help them navigate those programs, learn about them, get signed up, get on their feet, and move out into permanent housing.
I mean, wouldn't you say that they're just so focused on surviving?
Yes.
That they don't have the bandwidth to be able to say what kind of help is out there.
Exactly.
Because it's so funny. We talk a lot on this program about how out of control a lot of social benefits have gotten. But if you think about the beginnings of the social safety net in America, it started out with something called aid to widows and children. Okay, because the idea was that the only person that should need help from the government is a woman who is taking care of children that doesn't have a man. Now, I know that's an outdated way of looking at it, but that the initial goal was to take care of women and children.
Yes.
And that's something government should do. And that was sort of the basis of a lot of the care that we've had throughout our history, that when we've done that kind of thing. And, the work that My Sister's Place does great. You also have this fantastic thrift store.
Yes, we do.
I buy a lot of things from that thrift store, and I donate to it, too.
Oh, well, we appreciate that. Yes, it's called My Sister's Resale Boutique. It's in the Washington Square Shopping Center on John W. Morrow Parkway, behind the gun store. Our ladies shop there at no charge. And there are other nonprofits in town that send their residents there to shop at no charge. So when you donate to My Sister's Resale Boutique, you are really helping out a lot of people. And it is really cute. You're right. It's
got great stuff there. When my mom passed away, she had a lot of great work clothes. You know what I mean? And she was a classic kind of. They weren't out of style, and so we donated those before she died. She knew she was dying, and I told her about My Sister's Place, and she goes, yeah, I want to give them to My Sister's Place. So that's what we did.
Nice.
We gave them to My Sister's Place. And then I've done that too. So I've lost a lot of weight recently or in the last 5 years. And I had a lot of great plus size work clothes that I don't need anymore. And I've donated all of those to My Sister's Place.
That's wonderful.
Because, I know how hard it is when you've got to have the right interview clothes. You've got to have the right kind of clothes to go back to work. And granted, that's changed a lot, what we can wear to work, right, than what it used to be.
Yeah, sure.
But you still have to have nice clothes to wear to work.
Yeah, it's a confidence builder to show up feeling like you fit in with your peers. And it's just a really important piece of what we're doing, helping them. Because really, without a good job, you can't make it. There's just no way to. Housing costs are so high right now. And if you're also having to pay for childcare and there's just so many groceries and all of it, it adds up quickly. It's difficult for people with a strong support system to make it right now. And these women typically have no one.
No one.
We had a young lady who she was expecting a baby, and Christmas Day night, her blood pressure shot up and she ended up going to the hospital. And she put on her emergency contact was our case manager because she had no one that could come with her to the hospital. So our case manager got out of bed at 11:30 at night on Christmas Day, drove to the hospital, and was with her for an emergency C-section because otherwise that woman would have been alone. Like, these women have no one. And so we are a stopgap for them. We come alongside them. We get in the trenches with them and help them overcome the barriers that have brought them into this situation. and help. Our tagline is restoring hope. That's what we do. We help them understand there is hope and you can do this. And we are here for you.
So next Thursday is
Yes.
going to be the gala. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, we're so excited. So first of all, I have to say a huge thank you to you for being our honorary chair.
Thank
this
you.
is
It's my
amazing.
pleasure.
Yeah, so you're going to be there. Bill Maine is going to be there. It's going to be kind of a hometown celebrity evening. But then we also have a wonderful, really funny comic named Mike Goodwin. He's also known as the Bowtie Comic, if you're on Instagram and have seen him at all. He's hilarious. It's family friendly. So because it is kind of a heavy topic, so we found that having a comedian kind of lightens it up a little bit at the end, and you'll really enjoy him. He's very funny.
So if someone wanted to go to this, can you still buy tickets?
You can, but you have to hurry. So tomorrow is the last day. The tickets are on sale. You just go to our website, Google My Sister's Place of Gainesville. It'll come right up. Click on News and Events, and you can get your tickets there.
So are you part of a chain, My Sister's Place? Because I've noticed when I've searched, other My Sister's Places come up. Are they connected?
No, they are not. So we are just one.
So be sure to put My Sister's Place of Gainesville, Georgia.
Yes. We actually started right here on the square. Our founder would see women and children sleeping on the benches. Marty Owens, that's right. And she would invite them into her home and give them a meal, give them breakfast in the morning, pack them a sack lunch, and bring them back to the square. Because back then there was nowhere for the ladies and children to go. But now I encourage your listeners to come visit My Sister's Place. We do a tour the first Tuesday of every month. You can see how warm and cozy it is. It's just a wonderful, inviting place for these women and their children.
Well, my old pastor, Phil DeMoore, said, if you're doing God's work, the money will come.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's kind of what you guys have done throughout. If you're doing God's work, the money will come. And we're excited about the dinner. And so you have until tomorrow to get tickets. You can go to My Sister's Place, Gainesville, and buy the tickets. If you're going, it's going to be a great experience. I went last year. I had a great time.
Well, thank you.
And because I usually don't do these nighttime things, folks, because, I get up early in the morning. So to get me out at night is a pretty big thing. So I'm very happy to be doing this. And because it's for the community. I mean, you heard what I was talking about before, is that you can't change the world, but you can, you can make things better in your own backyard.
That's right. We had an event recently where a lady approached me with a donation. And I said, "Oh, thank you so much." And she said, "Well, I really believe in what you're doing over there." And I said, "Oh, that's so nice. Thank you." And she said, "I was actually there 10 years ago with my son. He was 4. And it meant everything to us to have a place to be for a little while and for me to regain my footing." And she's got a great job now. They're doing really well. And it was kind of like what you were saying earlier, that it's really encouraging to hear someone who it meant so much to her all those years ago, that we're actually having a generational impact on our community because her son is doing really well. We are there for the kids who are the most vulnerable members of our community. And we're just really glad to be there. I have to say one more thing really fast.
Okay.
So we do have a silent auction at our gala, and one of the coolest things that we're going to have is one of our items is being able to co-host with you on your show.
Yes.
That is one of our auction items, and I am thrilled about that. That is such a fun thing. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love doing that. And I'm always looking for fill-in hosts. So I found a couple through that, which has been good, which has really been good. Angie Brooks from My Sister's Place. You can buy tickets for the gala until tomorrow. Please go to the website and do that. And thank you for being here.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll take a break. Lots more to come.
The news you need.
I think it's very important.
When you need it.
We need to know the truth.
Always here. Always local. We're North Georgia's News Talk. AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
This is Grant Nichols, and at Loretta's Country Kitchen, we know life can really pile up. There's work getting the kids to practice and shopping. With all that, the week can really wear you out. The last thing you want to do is spend Saturday in the kitchen. Not to worry, we've just added lunch and dinner to our Saturday lineup at Loretta's. That's right, not only are we open for breakfast on Saturdays, but we're also serving up lunch from 11 till 2 and dinner from 4:30 until 8. Give your kitchen and your family a break with breakfast, lunch, and dinner Saturdays at Loretta's Country Kitchen, Mundy Mill Road, Oakwood, where it's all good.
I'm Frank Norton with the Norton Agency. Our family business has a legacy of honest, successful real estate brokerage. Buying or selling is an emotional and confusing process. We've been the trusted advocate for the best in home ownership. You need Norton now more than ever. Call us at 770-532-0022 or look for us on the web at gonorton.com. Our family serving North Georgia for 4 generations.
New year, double the savings. It's the double rebates event at Kraus Family Hyundai of Gainesville. Ring in the new year with double rebates. You get twice the factory rebate on all new Hyundai Santa Fe and Palisade models. Plus, you get America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and Hyundai Assurance. That's more money back and more reason to buy before January ends. Rush to Kraus Family Hyundai on Atlanta Highway off I-985 in Gainesville or visit KrausFamilyHyundai.com for full details.
250 years of America, built one town, one voice, one unforgettable mile at a time. This year, as our nation celebrates its 250th birthday, Travel with Anita brings those stories to life with Quarter Miles Travel. We're sharing the places where history still breathes, communities that shape the country, and landscapes that remind us of who we are. But these aren't just stories to hear. There are places you can go, roads you can travel, experiences you can step into. Quarter Miles Travel connects you to real destinations, real people, and real journeys waiting for you. Listen to us on air, online, and wherever you get your podcasts. Then visit travelwithanita.com for itineraries, travel ideas, and places where your next story begins. The adventure starts when you reach into your pocket.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Crews rescue several residents from an overnight complex fire that displaces more than 20 people. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Well, I think that the shooting of that woman up in Minnesota by an ICE agent last week turned public opinion, fairly or unfairly, against ICE. I think this event yesterday in that church may have had the opposite effect. The administration should have an airtight case that its agents have a right to be in Minnesota and in Minneapolis, rooting out illegal immigrants, particularly those who are either have committed or are wanted for crimes other than illegal immigration. But the public opinion has not been strongly in its favor at all so far. This could change that because it's so obviously inappropriate for what happened to have happened. And the governor may say what he wants belatedly today about how he doesn't support that. Well, if that's the case, then where were the Minnesota authorities at the time it was happening? Nope.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and that is the big question about that attack on the Minneapolis church. Where was the police? Where were the police? That was a local church being attacked. There's no other word for it. Where were the police? You can join us on the phones at 770-535-2911. Let's go to the phones now and talk to David in North Hall. Hey, David, how you doing?
Hey, Martha, how are you?
I'm good.
Who would ever have thought that America, well, half of America, would be against law enforcement trying to get rid of illegals, drug dealers, and criminals?
I tell you what, David, you're cutting in and out right now, so I'm going to put you back on hold. We're going to see if we can get that straightened out, and then let's go to the phones and talk to Tom in Lula. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Good morning, Martha. I'm doing okay. I hope you are.
Good.
Good. So thank you so much for having the lady from my sister's place on there. I know they do great work, so thank you for that.
Sure.
Now, on this topic of ICE agents and the illegal immigrant population, whatever, do you know? Can you elucidate, tell us what you know and about who's funding all of this, and what actions, if any, have been taken or are planned by the federal government to crack down on these people who are funding these criminal acts by protesters and stuff. And my guess is, I bet money, that they are globalist, anti-American, whatever they may be. They may be Marxist, they may be Islamists, they may be, but help us understand this the best.
Yeah,
you can,
I mean,
please.
here's what we know. It is a combination. Okay, for example, at the church invasion that happened on Sunday, there was a known person, two known people, not just Don Lemon. I'm talking about protesters, two known people that have been involved in paid protests. One with Black Lives Matter, and another one with these church invasions. There's a church in St. Paul that is affiliated with the church that they went into on Sunday. And then there's also a part of the church, I think they're called Christ Church, that they have a actual branch in Washington, D.C. And this particular guy has been at all of these churches and looks for any opportunity to go after churches. And he is... those two people we know are paid protesters, and they know who they are. They've got pictures, and they're looking for them. Okay. The other people, unfortunately, for whatever reason, there's certain cities. Minneapolis is one of them. Portland's another one, where they can whip up the actual people that live there enough to come in and do this stuff for free. And I don't understand that. I don't know who's letting them. They must not have jobs, or they've got employers that they're calling in sick or something. But it is a combination of paid protesters and protesters that have just been whipped up with these lies on social media. It's what I'm talking about. And Tom, thanks for your call today. What I was talking about before is there are these algorithms, and you almost cannot trust anything you see. And this has all been created based on a lie. And that is that we are deporting people who are not criminals and bad actors. There was this great video, which I did check out and was real, and the person was real, that the guy was from Minneapolis, and he was talking about, hey, I am a naturalized United States citizen. I am happy to show my identification. He put this video together, the 8 steps not to get arrested by ICE. And it was a little bit humorous, but also, hey, be polite. Don't yell at them. Be nice. Give them what they ask for. And nothing's going to happen. Because if you will cooperate, I mean, I've had that happen before. Haven't you ever been stopped by the police and had to show ID? Have you ever, as Logan, has that ever happened to you?
One time, many, many years ago.
Okay. It's only happened once or twice to me either, but basically, they pull you over. They want to see your insurance card and your driver's license, and then they check out and they see there's no outstanding warrants.
Right. That way you show who you are.
Well, and a lot of times it could be they pull you over because they've gotten some kind of notice that a car that looks like yours, because I don't have a car that I'm the only one that has it.
No, I'm saying
you don't have a car that, they've gotten a description of a car and they might pull you over, and then you just show them your stuff and they go, okay, see you later.
Thank
have
you.
a nice
Enjoy
day.
the rest of your night. Yeah.
And I tell you, I agree with this guy 100%. I am overly polite to police officers because they really don't know what they're coming up on when they come up on your window.
No, I mean, like I said, and it could be like, me or you just, we're in the car, something happens, oh, hey, what happens? But or it could just be some psycho out there. You never know.
So my son got pulled over the first time, and what happened is how long it was, he dropped a CD on the floor, and he leaned down to get it, which made his car swerve. He was a new driver, like 17, but a new driver, and he didn't have that, down where you can, pick something up without making the car swerve, and there happened to be a deputy behind him. And so the deputy goes, okay, is this kid drunk?
Right,
Pulled him
because
over.
you see someone swerving, you don't know.
You don't know. I mean, in a weird way, like just, or they could be having a medical emergency.
You don't know.
So he got pulled over. He was he was not as polite as he should have been. And you know, it was kind of interesting because, you know, the police officer followed him home because he was close to home. And Suzanne goes, "There's a police officer coming down our driveway." That's not words you always want to hear.
No, that's not what you want to hear.
And the guy was very nice, but he gave Chip a very good lesson where he said, "You know what? The next person might not know who your father is." You know, so my son's name is Linwood William Zoller IV. My husband's name is Linwood William Zoller III. He has been the jail doc for 35 years at Hall County Jail. So every deputy on the road knows who we are.
Right.
Okay, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad if your kid is speeding or something. But it was good advice he gave, that you just be nice. Don't assume that the police officer's trying to make your life difficult.
Right. They're not there to make a point or anything like that. But yeah, it's just, like I said, just be nice out there. Be friendly.
That's all right. Yeah. So anyway, we've got a lot of things that we're going to talk about. And I think that it's a challenge always to try to get on the right side of things. But I think it's really important, and I keep going back to this trigonometry podcast with Greg Hurwitz, and I think it's worth a listen, folks, because what I love about these guys, and it's two former comedians, one's from Venezuela, the other one is originally from Russia, but they both now live in the UK, and they're immigrants into the UK. And that one was a teacher, one was a comedian. They're great folks, but they ask great questions, and they talk about things in detail. And what Greg Hurwitz, who is an author, but also he's a researcher and a PhD and all this stuff, he was talking about these algorithms with social media. And I got to tell you more and more, don't let your kids get on social media. Don't let them on. I know at 8, 9, and 10, they're starting to ask you for this stuff. Don't do it. The longer you can put it off, the better off your child's going to be. And I know you think your kid's playing some game, and it's kind of cool they get to play the game with their cousin that lives in Texas too. Well, the problem is there are other people on that line that are feeding information to your kid. So you need to be careful, and you need to make sure you're living in the real world, not in the fake world. We'll be back.
Matt Hayes here from Hayes Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Baldwin with some serious savings on the great lineup of vehicles here at Hayes. And just to name a few, $6,500 off 26 Chrysler Pacificas, $9,000 off 25 Dodge Durangos, and $11,000 off 25 Jeep Wranglers. And trucks, well, we got the trucks. $10,000 off MSRP on 26 Ram 1500 Bighorns, and $13,000 off MSRP on 25 model Ram 2500 HD trucks. Refresh your driveway with one of these new deals from Hayes of Baldwin, and hey, ask about our free lifetime powertrain warranty.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
There is a sell-off on Wall Street. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After a long holiday weekend, as trade tensions simmer with Europe, the Dow plunging 688 points, 1 year to the day after President Trump returned to office.
I don't think there's been a term like it. I don't think any president has had a better first year than we've had.
Tonight, he'll go to Davos, Switzerland for the World Economic Forum, discussing his push for a U.S. takeover of Greenland. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, already in Davos, tells Fox Business.
Greenland's becoming more and more attractive
for foreign conquest, and he very strongly believes that it must be part of the United States to prevent a conflict.
The president has threatened European countries with additional tariffs if they refuse to support him on acquiring Greenland. Denmark's government has said it's willing to work with the U.S. on reinforcing Greenland's security. The Europeans have said a fight to take territory from an allied nation could put the entire NATO alliance at risk.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. House Speaker Mike Johnson's in London and was the first American speaker to ever address Parliament, calling Britain a strong ally we need.
I told the president that I felt that my mission here today was to encourage our friends and help to calm the waters, so to speak, and I hope to do so.
Also in Davos, Thursday, the president plans to formalize what he calls a board of peace.
It will mark the transition into phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire deal. Around 60 invitations were sent out, mostly to leaders of foreign countries. Countries like Canada and Argentina have already agreed to join.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv, Israel. The United Arab Emirates also agreed today to be on the board, but France may not join, prompting President Trump to threaten yet another tariff, 200% on French wine and champagne. There's a manhunt for a gunman in Portland, Oregon, where police officers were shot. They're stable now.
The shooting happened when the officers were called to investigate a threat with a knife, and upon arriving, someone opened fire on them. People in the residential area were asked to stay inside their homes with doors and windows closed.
That's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
WDUN. From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Hamilton Keener. 2 people from Toccoa are behind bars on meth trafficking charges. WDUN's Caleb Hutchins reports.
The Stevens County Sheriff's Office says a traffic stop last Thursday on North Hill Street in Toccoa led to the arrest of 37-year-old Adam Douglas Greason and 41-year-old Shandar Ivester. Greason had already been under Sheriff's Office investigation, with officials saying they learned he had been driving to the metro Atlanta area, picking up large quantities of drugs and bringing them back to Stevens County for distribution. Both Greason and Ivester were booked into the Stevens County Jail without bond on meth trafficking and other drug-related charges.
Tadmore Elementary School in Hall County will celebrate a century in education this week. The school is set to hold a celebration on Friday from 5 to 7 p.m., featuring carnival games, food vendors, and photos from the school's history. Principal Tracy Brack shares some of the school's past.
In 1926, we had some 1- and 2-room schoolhouses consolidate to form Tadmore School. The schools were Oconee and Harmony, Oak Grove, and Union Hill, and they came together to form Tadmore.
Brack says at the time, the school served roughly 75 students through 10th grade. Following the Gwinnett County Association of Educators' calls for the sheriff to pause his cooperation with ICE, the sheriff has responded. WDUN's William Daughtry with the details.
The Educators Association said in an open letter that seats are empty across Gwinnett schools as families keep students home and safe from ICE. Gwinnett County Sheriff Kibo Taylor said his department is committed to serving all residents of Gwinnett and maintain service to the community and adherence to the Constitution. Taylor added that they are taking immediate steps to meet with the Educators Association for a candid conversation on the matter.
And changes are coming to Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium ahead of FIFA World Cup matches in June. Adam Fullerton is VP of Stadium Operations and tells ANF TV they are replacing artificial turf with natural grass. Fullerton says they also have over 2,000 corporate signs to cover up before June 15th. You can find more news online at Access WDUN.
Chances are that you remember the Brady Bunch. If you didn't see it in the 70s, it's still on the air somewhere today. It was a nice, tidy sitcom about a blended family, but they never had a wacky adventure that involved Mike and Carol's estate planning. This is elder law and estate planning attorney Kevin Tharp, and I can show you how to make the perfect plan for your blended family. Log on to KevinTharp.com today. It's much more than a hunch. That's KevinTharp.com.
Have you been driving 25 in a 55-mile-per-hour zone? Are your passengers concerned about your vision? Don't let glare at night or in the rain slow you down. Hi, this is Kim. Here at Advanced Eye Center, we offer all laser LASIK, clear lens exchange, specialty lenses with laser cataract surgery, as well as contacts and designer glasses. Our doctors handle a wide variety of vision problems for people of all ages and are skilled at providing fantastic solutions. Come see why we're voted best in Hall County year after year. Advanced Eye Center, vision correction for all ages.
talking about the issues that affect you most. It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. Now from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, here's Martha Zoller on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Georgia's come a long way, but one wrong call could turn the ball over and send us all backward. Georgia's not California, and Atlanta will never be Chicago. Like you, I'm tired of all the political squabbling, the unproductive arguing on the sidelines. Georgia needs a leader with fresh legs, who's tested and ready to get in the game. I'm Clark Dean. I'm not a politician. I'm a husband, a father, a businessman, a community servant, a fighter who doesn't quit. I've been tested in life and in business. And when the game gets tough, I listen, I build teams, and I charge forward. My playbook is simple. Unleash your potential, strengthen our communities, and deliver results that matter to your family. I'll be a governor for all Georgians. Let's advance the ball on making Georgia the best place in the country for everyone to achieve the American dream. Let's finish what we started. Let's win this together.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. That's the commercial for Clark Dean. And sitting right here with me is Clark Dean. He's running for governor. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's good to be with you, Martha.
Now, I couldn't miss the ball analogies in that commercial. So is there a football background there?
There is a football background. I started playing in 4th grade and played all the way through college.
Yeah, so where'd you play?
Played at Harvard.
Really?
Which doesn't get you very far down here.
No, but that's okay. You know, my cousin went to Harvard, and he was ROTC, which of course they don't have at Harvard. So he had to go, I think, to Boston College to do his ROTC or MIT.
Yep.
And he ended up 30-year career in the Army. You know, and do you have a relationship with Harvard now?
I do.
Really?
With Harvard football.
Yeah.
So that's
good.
Harvard football still gets my money. The school, not as much.
No, I get that.
But it was a great experience, and I was a kid. I mean, I loved playing football all the way through. I had a weird injury my senior year in high school, so my recruiting kind of went in the ditch.
Yeah.
All the coaches ran for the hills, but the Harvard guy, he was like, "Look, I think you're going to get in, and if you do, I want you to play." So I was a preferred walk-on with a chip on my shoulder, but I wanted to study biomedical engineering, and at the time, it was one of the only schools in the country that had an undergraduate degree in biomedical engineering.
Kind of like Fernando Mendoza. He walked on. He couldn't walk on at Miami, and look what happened last night.
You know, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Martha.
So tell us about you.
Well, I've been in Georgia for over 20 years. Really enjoyed raising my family here. We came when my kids were literally 4, 2, and newborn. And just have really enjoyed it. So married for 28 years, have these 3 kids. We came, like I said, when they were little. Now they're 26, 24, 22, 2 boys and a girl. My oldest just got married, which has been very fun. So we had our first Christmas with the new daughter-in-law this past Christmas, which was great. I'm a business guy. You know, I've been I studied biomedical engineering, but I got sucked into real estate and finance and management consulting. So, my whole career has really been serving clients in those fields all over the country and around the world. And I feel like I'm a guy that really I often refer to myself, I'm a son of the community. I'm one of these guys that really people invested in along the way. I was an Eagle Scout and, did Boy State and learned about that and, youth group through my whole life growing up, learned about mission trips and really have continued to do that still to this day, which is really an important part of my life, and the football. And what I found is that people kept investing in me, and then I got a chance really in all of those areas to go back and I became a scout leader, and I got to go back to Boy State as a counselor, and I got to, obviously involved with church and was an adult Sunday school teacher for like almost 20 years. So, just doing those kind of things, I think is an opportunity to give back. And I feel like a lot of folks invested. Now it's time to give them a return on that investment.
And a Rotarian.
And a Rotarian, which is a big deal. So nonprofit stuff is super important to me. I got involved with Rotary in the early 2000s, joined the Rotary Club of Atlanta in 2006, and then got to the honor of serving as president of that club in 2017 and 18, right after we hosted the International Convention in Atlanta.
That's right.
That was a really fun experience, and I got to know so many Rotarians from all over the state, be on that host committee, and Rotarians are awesome. I mean, it's this idea of service above self, I think, is so important. And it's really one of the reasons I'm running for governor. I mean, is this idea that we, Georgians deserve leadership that's committed to service above self and really dedicated to helping all Georgians thrive.
So tell me what this process was like, because you decided you wanted to run for governor, but
Mm-hmm.
you're a guy with really very little political experience. But I guess, there's some politics in the, leading of civic clubs and things like that. There's some politics involved in that, but really not
And in real estate.
And in real estate.
A lot.
So not the political world per se. But what was that process like? And how does a guy like you put a team together, that's maybe going to achieve this goal that I'm sure a lot of people have told you, why are you doing this? You don't have a chance. And I'm sure you've heard that. I'm not saying you don't have a chance. I'm just saying a lot of people say, why start with governor?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do say, why start with governor? But it started with people saying, why not you? Why not now?
Yes.
And that's why I got into it. I mean, I didn't really wake up, one day and say, hey, I want to do this. But I had a lot of folks really encourage me to do it because they felt like they wanted leaders with those kind of priorities and with those kind of backgrounds. I mean, the thing about the government experience in my core business. I mean, again, I'm in the real estate business, and I serve, large corporates and small businesses, really across the country, and helping do pretty complex real estate deals. I mean, the first project I worked on in corporate real estate was in Washington, D.C., working with Elizabeth Dole on a new headquarters for the American Red Cross. So we had to deal with the federal government. I had to deal with Marion Barry, who was the mayor of Washington at the time. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of politics and a lot of really interesting things throughout my entire career. And really, it's all about, like you said, it's about building the right teams. And if you can get the right people around you, you build the right teams, you listen, you can do anything. And I've never been more confident that that's possible right now.
So what do you see in state government that makes you think, I'm the guy to lead this team? I mean, what would you do if you were governor?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I listen. And it's a business thing, right? I mean, you start, if you're going to serve clients, and I really do believe, I'm very proud of the business we built, but I'm even more proud of the businesses I've helped my clients build. And I think that's, to me, governor of the state of Georgia is the greatest client service job in the state. You got 11 million clients. And if you really want to serve them, you got to start by listening. So that's exactly what I've done. I've gone all over the state asking a bunch of questions. People say, man, you ask a lot of questions. And I'm like, well, I don't know how else you do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's understand. I say, look, what do you care about in your community? What are things you're excited about? What are the opportunities? And what breaks your heart? And people will share with you. And to me, that's been the best part of it. And when you start seeing these patterns of opportunities, and that was really the basis of this, you may have heard talk about this ASAP plan for Georgia, which we need to do ASAP. And it really focuses on affordability, on strength, on accessibility and prosperity for all Georgians as soon as possible. And then there's work streams under each one of those letters that I've really worked on and continued to develop as I listen to people and identify the opportunities. And one thing, so much of what's great about the state of Georgia, everything begins in community. And we've got a lot of great communities here. We've got great community leaders. We've got a lot of great nonprofits that do fabulous work. But the economy is really, it gets down to, like, if you get the economy right, all these other things fall into place. And I really believe right now, when I assess the state, we've got so many strong assets, but we have some real opportunities for what I refer to as economic acupuncture. Right? You don't need big government programs, but if you put a little needle in here and expand this bottleneck, right, that could actually allow this industry or sector to flourish, and then put a little needle in here and allow that to flourish. We've got a lot of these all over the state and a lot of rural areas where we could really bring these towns in these areas back to life so they can really fulfill the promise that those people want to have for their communities and for their families there.
So what are the top 3 things you hear from voters that they're the most concerned about?
So it was those 4 things, really. I mean, the first thing, by the way, and I've been talking about this from day one since I launched, is affordability. I mean, people care about it. It matters. And it matters whether, you think it's there or not. It's just what people are saying. And I know I felt it. I mean, I think we've all stood in the grocery store and we've watched people start putting things back. It's a big deal. But the interesting thing about that, affordability covers a lot of different things. And we've got food and grocery affordability, housing affordability, we've got tax policy, right, that affects affordability, and things like food and grocery affordability. I mean, there's a lot of states that can't do a lot about that, but we can. And I think there's a real opportunity and some things that I've learned actually doing mission work in Central America that I think can unlock opportunities for targeted food processing that can really catalyze some of the agricultural industry in our state, and at the same time creating opportunities for farmers and allowing them to kind of expand the yield that they have on their crops, at the same time expanding the food supply and ultimately reducing costs for Georgians.
And, what I hear is the affordability, number one, traffic, number two.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's talking about that. And then I think that probably the third one is, concern about certain agencies. I mean, we got a big problem in the foster care world right now, huge problem. And I think in theory, the foster care system, if it works right, it is the best way, but we let kids, our goal of family reunification, which I think is a great goal, sometimes we go too long. And then what happens is those kids never find a home. And they end up being in a foster home, 11 different foster homes before they get out of the system. And even though we've done a better job of adding to the services they get until 24, not 18 anymore, there's still a lot of problems with them being good members of society because they've never learned how to love anybody.
It's a massive problem. It's a massive problem. And in those things that you just mentioned, to me, those are the things I hear that I sort of bucket into strength. I mean, how do you have a strong state, right? You got to have an efficient, effective government, but you also have to have strong institutions within our government that serve people the right way. The foster care system is broken. I mean, it's not working for us. And I got to see that really up close and personal in my early efforts to end especially child sex trafficking. So that was a big issue for me in the Rotary Club of Atlanta back when nobody wanted to talk about this. I mean, literally, we wanted to put a program up on stage and people were like, whoa, I don't know if we ought to talk about this.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what leadership is. It is taking on these hard things, and we did. My father-in-law actually started the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. He was employee number one, was the chief operating officer for decades. And so I was really keenly aware of how these young people whose lives are often kind of broken and disconnected in the foster system, how it makes them susceptible really to being victims of these trafficking crimes. And you see it happen a lot. I've been involved with Covenant House for years, and a lot of the folks that come through Covenant House, which is a homeless youth organization in Atlanta, it is just it's heartbreaking how many of them came from the foster system and just weren't able to get it figured out. And the thing about it is, I think that's where, and you're a Rotarian, so you get people around these kind of problems, you can do big things. And I'll use, for instance, when that Rotary Club got behind, the child sex trafficking. I mean, we created this first task force of CEOs around the city. Like, people weren't talking about it at all, like literally. And all of a sudden they're like, wow, this is something not only is a big issue, but it's something that, we're running the big airlines, the big hotels, and we can do something about it. So we did that. We got the National Center to come down. We hosted and funded the first regional law enforcement training program for child sex trafficking.
I mean, it's 21st century slavery is what it is, and it was exacerbated under the Biden administration by all the missing kids that came into this. I'm sure a lot of them came to Georgia, so it's a challenge. Can you stay one more segment?
Of course.
Okay, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Clark Dean till the bottom of the hour.
And the schools and the agents, they have ruined college sports. It's insane.
It's Todd Starnes weekdays at noon on North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Some car dealers want to sell you a car. At Hardy Chevrolet, we'd rather help you find the vehicle that's right for you. This is Mike Cormier. We call it the Hardy Chevrolet difference. Since you're the one who will be in the driver's seat of that new Chevy, we think you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to making the selection. It's like Charles Hardy always said,
we love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
Are you a veteran? Was your spouse a veteran? The VA might have some money for you. Hi, I'm Tabitha Clark, one of the paralegals at Kimbrough Law. I'm also a veteran. The VA Aid and Attendance benefit can pay more than $31,000 a year. That's every year tax-free. Most people have no idea that the VA Pension Aid and Attendance benefit even exists. As a result, millions of veterans are missing out on extra money each month. I don't want you to be one of them. And it's not just that veterans don't know about this. There are misconceptions about VA benefits that could keep you from getting money you've earned, money you deserve. If you're over 65 and you were in the service during wartime period, or you're married to someone who served during wartime period, call Kimbrough Law. We'll see if you qualify. And if you do, we'll help you apply. For more information, go to kimbroughslaw.net. That's kimbroughslaw.net.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Tadmore Elementary School in Hall County will commemorate a century of education this week when it holds a celebration on Friday. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. We're here with Clark Dean. He is an outsider candidate running as a Republican in the governor's race for Georgia. And it's an interesting conversation. If people want to know more about you, Clark, how can they do that?
They can check out my website. So it's www.clarkdeanforga, just FORGA.com. Also follow me on my Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok. I got it all now. I got it all.
So how has it been, just getting, because I know that it's difficult. The system is difficult. Mm-hmm. And the primary system is difficult. You're going to qualify, I'm sure, in March. And then once you do, then that'll open up a door to a lot of opportunities for debates and things like that. So have you thought about that process? I'm sure you have, and how you're going to do that so you get this message out around Georgia.
No, of course. We got a huge state. We got a lot of counties. We got a big state. It's a lot of territory to cover. And a lot of people. And to me, I've really enjoyed getting out there and meeting with folks. I mean, you just getting out there and meeting people, I think, has been the best thing about this. And if you meet with the right people around the state, then they go tell their friends, they tell their friends, they tell their friends. And that's kind of good old-fashioned sort of grassroots politic. But to me, it has been it's been really heartwarming, the reception that I've gotten all over the state. I think people are ready for an outsider. They want somebody to solve problems and get things done.
Well, I mean, in the all the Republican polling shows there's in the 40s as far as undecided.
That's right.
With the candidates that are in, and
some have it higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, that people are undecided. They don't know what they want to do with this, and you're in a unique place because you can raise money during the legislative session where everybody else that's running cannot, and so you're in a place for that. And obviously, money's part of the game. So how are you going to structure that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, you got to raise a lot of money, and you got to raise a lot of money from a lot of people, and
Yes.
and I think the discipline of doing that is actually that's how you win campaigns. There have been a lot of folks that have thrown a lot of their own money into campaigns and have lost. Because you got to have the discipline of getting people invested.
Well, it also deters the small money people from giving. If you write yourself a big check, then they don't think you need them.
That's right.
So they don't give.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is there are a lot of undecided voters out there. And what's interesting to me, and I hear a lot, it's not that the other candidates aren't well known. I mean, they're very well known. Everybody knows them. They're just not decided that they want to really vote for him yet. And to me, I think that's really interesting right now as the Republicans, because the fact of the matter is we have to get a candidate on the ballot in November who can actually win this election. And it's got to be a compelling candidate that connect with the people in Georgia and actually compel them to want to come out and vote. Because let me tell you, the Democrats are very engaged. They're very charged up. And they really, really, really want that house on West Paces. And they're going to do everything they can do to get it. And we got to be really smart about who we put on the ticket to win in November.
So why should folks vote for you?
Well, I can win in November for sure. And I'm a guy who's absolutely committed to service above self. I mean, it's my track record, is what I've done. I'm very, very committed and dedicated to making sure that all Georgians thrive. No matter what zip code you come from or where you're born in or where you live now, I believe we have an opportunity to make Georgia a superpower state. I mean, we really should be a superpower state. We're number one in business. We've been number one for 12 years running. That's fantastic. But the fact of the matter is we should be number one in lots of things. And we shouldn't be number 37 in maternal mortality. And like with the health thing, that gets into the accessibility part of my platform. I mean, so many times we're playing a defensive position. How do we just be not bad at women's health? I'm saying, like, let's go on the offense. Let's be number one in women's health. We have everything it takes right now from an innovation standpoint, et cetera, in the state of Georgia to be number one in women's health. I mean, the fact of the matter is modern medicine has always treated women like little men. And the fact of the matter, women are not little men. Their biologies are totally different.
So over half the budget is spent on education. And we only have about a minute and a half left. So I don't want to, it's not a subject. We'll have to have you back to talk about that at length.
Love that.
Your thoughts about that, just in a minute and a half.
Education is super important. I've been a big believer in early childhood education. I chair the Metro Atlanta YMCA, which is the largest provider of early childhood education in the state. From 0 to 4, that's when brains are developing. I mean, it literally, like 80 to 90% of brain development happens between 0 and 5. We have to get that into kids early. Literacy is super important. We have to have literacy programs that actually teach kids how to read. Math and science, obviously I'm a big supporter of that. We need to do that. And then education in high school, we need to create entrepreneurial opportunities for kids to get apprenticeships in things that they want to do. It always bothers me when people say, oh, this generation, they don't work hard. Man, we got a generation that'll throw up doing wind sprints to win basketball games. It's our responsibility as leaders to focus kids on what are the benefits of learning that math, of being able to read this literature, being able to be great writers and great communicators. What are those jobs that are open to them? And there's a lot of jobs out there that do not require 4-year college. I helped my cousin start a plumbing business over in Alabama, and he crushes it. So I really think there's a lot of opportunities in education. We need to look at it from cradle to career.
I need to introduce you to the CTAE programs in Georgia. I'm on the State Board of Education, so
yes, ma'am.
I'll introduce you to that. You'll love it. It's ClarkDeanForGeorgia.com if you want to know more. It was great having you with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Martha. Really enjoyed being with you here this morning.
Thank you. We'll be back.
On-time service and experience matter for your home's heating and air system. For more than 40 years, Conditioned Air Systems has been North Georgia's solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Get breaking news fast. Sign up at accesswdun.com for breaking news alerts via text. Log on to accesswdun.com for details and to sign up. You can also sign up to receive local weather and sports alerts. Get the news first with breaking news text alerts from Access WDUN and North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. Opinion day for the Supreme Court, where justices have just released 3 decisions. None of them, though, is the closely watched one on tariffs, which marks a major test to presidential powers. Tomorrow, the Supreme Court hears arguments over whether the president can fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. That case is believed to indicate whether the central bank remains insulated from political pressure. And controversial e-bike legislation signed into law in New Jersey.
And comes after a rise in e-bike crashes that included 2 deaths. The new law expands regulations to cover all types of e-bikes and requires riders to have a license, register their bikes, and carry insurance. Riders must be at least 17 years old with a driver's license or 15 with a motorized bike license.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. And an overnight structure fire displaces at least 20 occupants from a Gwinnett County apartment complex, while several residents are rescued from temporary entrapment. Gwinnett County's fire captain, Ryan McGibney, said that several units were called to the Cortland Duluth apartments on the 1300 block of Harrington Road just before midnight Monday for several reports of smoke. They arrived to find the smoke throughout the building, with the lower level heavily involved and several occupants trapped on upper floors. While ground and aerial ladders were used to quickly respond to the trapped residents, they needed 2 hours to douse the flames. No major injuries reported. 2 people from Toccoa are being held behind bars on meth trafficking charges. WDUN's Caleb Hutchins reports.
The Stevens County Sheriff's Office says a traffic stop last Thursday on North Hill Street in Toccoa led to the arrest of 37-year-old Adam Douglas Greason and 41-year-old Shandar Ivester. Greason had already been under Sheriff's Office investigation, with officials saying they learned he had been driving to the metro Atlanta area, picking up large quantities of drugs and bringing them back to Stevens County for distribution.
And Tadmore Elementary School in Hall County will celebrate a century in education this week, as the school is set to hold a celebration on Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. featuring carnival games, food vendors, and photos from the school's history. You can find out more about Tadmore's history by visiting Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Tuesday morning, North Georgia. Mostly sunny skies continue. We will end up in the mid-40s. Then getting into this evening and tonight, mostly clear skies, cold mid-20s by early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Claremont, 31 degrees, Suwanee, 34, and in Gainesville, 32. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
I'm Frank Norton with the Norton Agency. Buying a home just got 10 times more complicated. You need a professional broker by your side to help you through the process. New buyer, seller regulations, lengthy contracts, the crazy mortgage process, inspections, appraisal, and then closing. You need Norton now more than ever. Call us at 770-532-0022 or look for us on the web at gonorton.com. Our family serving North Georgia for 4 generations.
Nobody wants to talk about septic services until there's a problem.
We're here to help. At SNS Septic, we are here 24 hours a day to help when you need us.
As a 4th-generation business, we know that SNS Septic is the one to call for pumping, repairs, installations, and more. We cover residential, commercial, and government projects. If you have septic or plumbing problems, call us.
That's right. You can find us on the web at septicga.com.
Call SNS Septic today to set up an inspection of your system and have everything taken care of before it all hits the fan.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. It's great to be here. And, of course, we like to say we talk about things around the corner and around the world. And right now we're talking to Alireza Jafarzeduh, who's the author of The Iran Threat on the Iranian News of the Day. We hadn't talked much about this, but I think it's important because I think that we don't want it to drop off of the radar. So welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Martha. Always a pleasure to be on your show. Appreciate that.
Thank you. So can you give us an update of kind of where things are today? Because it seems like things are a little quieter. However, the news coming out is bad as far as what's happening to the Iranian people.
Exactly, Martha. The protest, the round of protests started.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We've got a really bad connection. So let's put you on hold and see if we can't get a better connection, and we'll get you back on. So maybe we can have him call back in or something. We'll see what happens there. It was great to talk to Clark Dean. He was very interesting to hear about, and we wanted to have somebody on to talk about what's going on in Iran. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully we'll get this connection right with this and be able to talk about it. But it's, we don't want to let, while I know this goes against what I said probably at the beginning of the program, only work on the things you can control, it is important to know about freedom fighters around the world. And because the world, I think, is getting to be a better place. I know that it doesn't feel like that to a lot of people, but I'm very happy to see what's happening there. Okay, so let's bring Mr. Jafarzeduh back on. Thank you so much for calling back in.
Thank you so much, Martha. Always a pleasure. So you asked me about the latest.
Yes, much better. That's much better. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So here's the latest. Even though the protest started over 3 weeks ago with the protest against the deteriorating value of the Iranian currency, it started with small businesses in Tehran, but it soon expanded to other sectors of the society, and then there's the poor, the deprived, the smaller towns and cities also joined the capital, Tehran, adding to the students in various universities, and very quickly the chants in the streets became death to the dictator, death to Khamenei, who is the unelected supreme leader of the Iranian regime, and down with the oppressor, be the Shah or the supreme leader, making it very clear that the call on the Iranian nation is to end any form of dictatorship. So it was a nationwide call for change and towards democracy. And of course, that's the behavior of dictators, particularly this regime, that they brought in revolutionary guards, the repressive forces. They started firing on the protesters. They even went, door to door, trying to catch anyone who was injured, and managed to leave the city and went to hospital, those injured from the hospital beds and executing them on the spot. It was absolutely horrific thing that within a matter of few days, based on our estimate, which is a more conservative estimate, over 3,000 protesters were massacred and killed by the regime in the capital, but also other cities. Over 50,000 have been arrested. The regime judiciary, under the order of the supreme leader, has started threatening what they call swift punishment for the protesters, signaling that they intend to actually carry out mass executions, and so they're openly admitting to that. Now, what does it tell you? First of all, it tells you the level of cruelty of the regime, that they will do whatever it takes to stay in power. On the other side, it shows a very committed nation, even though they had seen such killings before, but they're not afraid to out and confront the regime, and they have maintained their focus on Iran. Now, even though the extent of press
I tell you what, we're gonna have to. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to reschedule this because the connection has gotten bad again, and I'm so sorry because we really have to say goodbye, but we will get you back on and we will make sure the connection is good. Thank you so much for being with us today. Look, I think that we have to be aware that the Persian people have a long and storied existence, and it is extremely important that we understand these issues just as much as we understand, everything else. So I do appreciate him. We tried to do this. It was a long connection, and it just didn't work out. But what we will do is reschedule and try to make this better. So anyway, we're going to take a break a little bit early, and then when we come back, we'll take you up to the top of the hour.
Everyone wants to live a rich life, especially in retirement. Join Rich Life advisor Bo Henderson for the Rich Life Retirement Show, where the math shows you the path. Sundays at 12:35 on WDUN.
Would you take advice on how to collect money from the folks that owe it to you? That's exactly what you do when you let an insurance company steer you to their contract shop. At Nichols Body Shop, we earn our customers one at a time. We depend on repeat customers and referrals to keep our shop busy. When you need a repair shop, please consider picking a shop that works for you. Nichols Body Shop in Flowery Branch, where the best sign of a quality repair is no sign at all. Find us on Facebook or call 770-967-8200.
It's WDUN's Bill Main inviting you to join me September 28th as we journey to sunny Portugal with Colette and Peach State Bank and Trust. We'll explore Europe's old world charm, spending multiple nights in charming Porto and the amazing Algarve coast. We'll walk the cobblestone streets and cruise the scenic Douro River from the colorful capital of Lisbon to the stunning cliffs and whitewashed villages of the Algarve. We'll visit the breathtaking shoreline of the Portuguese Riviera and see ancient castles, groves of orange and almond trees. Plus, we'll visit the quaint villages of Lagos, Sintra, and Cascais. Then there's the famous wine, savory foods, and beautiful beaches. Plus, we'll visit a family-owned cork factory. Yeah! Colette covers all the details, flights, meals, hotels, all of that. We just need to have a good time. So don't miss out. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or visit WDUN.com for full details.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, a new executive director for the Humane Society of Northeast Georgia provides nearly 20 years of experience for nonprofit group leadership. Details at Access WDUN. And coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
He's going to take off and run. Mendoza weaves his way first and goal. Diving toward the end zone. Touchdown! That's why he won the Heisman Trophy.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. Yes, I stayed up till the end of that game. I was not disciplined because it was such a good game. And this play, they were 4th and 5 deep in Miami territory, and they did a quarterback draw and set it up differently. Evidently, from what the coach said, Logan, they practiced this play all week. They did this play differently this week for this particular game. And the way they protected, he decided to keep it. He gets almost there, and then he launches. And I'm telling you, gets hit so hard. they did a terrible job protecting him last night. Okay, because he got hit, meaning Fernando Mendoza, got hit a bunch of times to the point where his lip was bleeding, his arm, they showed his arm after the game. It was completely raspberried up. That's going to hurt
He's
bad.
got some ice on him today, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But it was probably, even though I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan and we won twice, the second one wasn't a very good game, though, because it was like 65-10 or something like that. But even though I'm a Georgia Bulldog, I think that was the most exciting college football playoff I've ever seen.
No, I mean, that was a fantastic game. Like I said, credit to Miami. They played as hard as you can play. Like I said, just Indiana just slightly better at the end in that play.
A mistake.
And a big mistake. Interception at the end. Miami could have won the ball game. They were, it was 4th down and a mile. And Carson Beck at the very last play, it was, do or die. He chucked it about 30 yards, it felt like. It wasn't a short pass. He threw it deep and threw it in the double coverage, got picked off, and that was it for Miami. That was their final play.
And again, a special coverage situation where they took 2 of the players, one keeping an eye on the receiver, and the other one could turn around and look for the ball. And that's what they did, and he got the interception. But it was a fantastic game, a great way to end the season. I mean, I hated that my dogs weren't there, but in a way we were, because President Pam Whitten was the provost at the University of Georgia before she went to Indiana. And Indiana, a lot of the support that they got to build this football program in the last 2 years, was because of Pam Whitten. So I feel kind of like a UGA connection to this, so it's very exciting. But and it'll be good for Indiana. I mean, if you've ever met anybody that went to Indiana, there was a period of time in the Georgia legislature, in the I want to say, if Eric Johnson is listening, he'll know, but there was a period of time where there were as many Indiana U graduates that went to Bloomington in the legislature as there were UGA grads, because it was like in the 80s. Everybody was moving here. And so a period of time you saw people from Indiana University in the Georgia legislature. So anyway, but it was a great game, Logan. And it was, I'm not saying it was worth losing sleep over, because it was so hard to go to sleep. That's the problem, not the staying up till the end of the game. It was that you're so excited because of the way it ended.
Right, just the adrenaline.
That you couldn't go to sleep.
No, and like I said, it was a fantastic ball game. It was close at halftime. That's where I had to tune out, because I wake up at 3:30, 4 in the morning. Yeah. So I chose to get some sleep overall, but I watched all the highlights this morning when I woke up before I came in this morning to work, and it was a fantastic game. And credit, like I said, Miami's defense played a tremendous game overall. Like I said, they got to Fernando as much as you can get to him.
Several times.
But like I said, that magical 12-yard run where he should have been down before the first down marker, and then he should have been down again. But I don't know what it was. He was able to will his way through the end zone.
It really was a defense game.
The
scoring wasn't high. It was just shy of the point spread. The point spread was 7.5 points, and it was 6. But you didn't know till the end. I thought it was going to go to overtime.
Yeah,
really.
it was a toss-up the whole way, and what a turnaround for Indiana. The losingest team in college football history just did completed an undefeated 16-0 season and have a Heisman winner, Coach of the Year probably, and cap it off with a national championship.
One of those statistics that I hate that they give all during the games, but the last time this happened was in 1894,
with Yale, yes,
16-0.
With the, like I said, only team to do that. There's been a whole lot of, 13, 14, 15 throughout the years, but now with the college football playoff, we've got 16.
Well,
it's Yale and Indiana.
To be fair, for a while they didn't play 16 games.
Of course,
it was
yes.
When I went to college, it was a 10-game season, and then you might have the SEC championship,
right,
and a bowl game. So you might have 12 games.
Yep.
But that was the most you could have.
But 16, Congrats to Indiana once again.
Absolutely. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Robert in Gainesville. Hey, Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. The most profound thing that seems to be happening in the Iranian uprising that we're seeing is burning of the mosque. I mean, that is really a big deal. And I think this shows that the people are tired of being tyrannized by the religion. It's not so much a political thing as it is a religious thing. And it's tired of being, tyrannized by a false religion. And I think that when they get a chance to find out who Jesus is and died for them, and they see that the truth, because they've been really covered over with that religion, just like in Korea, the people are held in great ignorance.
And Robert, we're having the same problem with you, so maybe it's us with the phone line. So we're having a little too much problem with the line, but thank you so much. We got a couple of text messages in. Todd in Buford says, who's feeling this great economy? I see fuel down maybe 20 cents, not 20%. Grocery items are still high with very, very few things down. So my first sentence is key to winning the midterms. And the cost of food and the fuel used to get there will have to drop much more because the upper middle class and higher are the only ones feeling this great economy. You know, Todd, the only thing I would say about that is gas is down a lot more than 20 cents a gallon in the last year. Okay, so if you're only feeling 20 cents, it might be that you got used to the one drop and then you got another drop and maybe, but in the last year, but I hear you. Because if you're not feeling it right now, you're not feeling it. Grocery stuff is still pretty high, but you know where I've really noticed, and Logan, I want to know what you think about this, restaurants. You know, for a while, the restaurants were kind of holding the line to some degree, but I've noticed the last several restaurants I've gone to, it's been big differences in the prices.
Yeah, I would say, you know, restaurants for sure. I think for me, it is the gas prices. Because, I mean, before, you know, I'd go fill up full tank for $40 or whatever. But now it's like, oh, hey, it's only, you know, 28 or 30.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm feeling it the most.
That's substantial.
That really is. Where I wish it was still a little bit more, grocery stores. That still hurt the pockets. You know, family, you know, me and my fiance, family too, and our dog, we get food for occasionally. But, I mean, it's $200 every week, every other week for, you know, we're not getting filet mignons or nothing like that.
Well,
we're getting.
It's like my daughter is, they pack lunches, they eat breakfast at home, you know, they cook basically the same thing every week, every night, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So their grocery list is very similar from week to week, and they have said they're still feeling it big time on grocery prices.
It still hurts, you know, and like I said, we're not going and splurging on organic food or anything like that. But that's the where it hurts the most. And for restaurants, it kind of depends, you know, where you go. It's still, I mean, because we still go to fast food occasionally, it's still crazy expensive there for some reason. I mean, you're spending just as much there at a McDonald's as you would going to any restaurant here on the square. You know, for what you would consider cheaper food, it ain't that no more.
No. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. We got a nice message in about my sister's place. Love my sister's place. Have donated for years. My mama wanted her clothes to go to my sister's place after she passed. I actually have some things loaded in my car to bring tomorrow. That's Janet in Flowery Branch. And again, until tomorrow, you can buy tickets to the gala at my sister's place, which is next Thursday. It's at the Ramsey Center. It'll be 5:30, I think, for the VIP reception, or doors open at 5:30. The dinner starts at 6. There is a VIP also, but it's a great venue, great place to go. And I'll be there, and Bill Main and I will both be there for a night event. Who knows what will happen the next day on the radio shows. You know?
Yeah, it could be. I know Bill's probably going to be coming in bleary-eyed because I know he only drinks decaf coffee, so it might be he'll be a rough night for it, but he'll be good though.
He only drinks decaf coffee. What is wrong with that boy? I've given up all of my other bad habits, so I still do caffeine. Triple if you can get it. I kind of like that idea, but there's a lot going on in the world, and find something to get involved in your community. That'll make you feel a lot better about the world. I know, you know, my kids, of course, I had a bunch of them here this weekend. And so I had to go for a big grocery trip. I mean, usually Lynn and I, you know, we cook on the weekends usually, and then we pretty much eat leftovers all week long, or I might make a chef salad or something like that. But I bought groceries basically for the weekend. And it was $150.
Yeah.
Just to buy groceries for 3 days.
For 3, yeah, and like I said, for a handful of people.
But the big thing was I had to buy, because I normally get meat from the meat corral that's up on Thompson Ridge Road, and my husband buys it in bulk.
Okay.
I mean, come the revolution, we will have meat in our freezer. Okay, so it's a good thing there. So we pay about half what you pay at the grocery stores. But I didn't have what I needed for the pot roast I was going to make, so I bought the roast that I used for the pot roast. Oh, my Lord. That was the big expense. And I bought meat for sandwiches.
Okay,
so that's high, too, because I don't buy the processed stuff. I mean, I buy the deli stuff, which is more expensive, but it's better for you.
Yeah, it's better quality, yeah.
It's better quality.
For sure.
But everything else, I didn't have to buy Cokes, which can be very expensive these days. But they have this weird stuff now. Like, have you seen this? Like, buy 2 12-packs and get 3 free.
Yeah,
okay, why don't you just give me the better price on all of them?
You would think so, but I mean, even sodas are still relatively expensive because we just buy usually like the 12-pack cans.
Yeah,
it's just easier to store.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are $10, $15 depending on what kind you get.
Yeah, and it's so funny because we had what was the other thing that I always buy that was Doritos. All right, I usually don't buy them, but the kids were coming, they like them. So it was like one bag is $6. But if you buy 4 bags, you can get 4 bags for $8. And I'm like, okay, I really don't need 4 bags, but they never go bad. I mean, the apocalypse could come and the chips, if you haven't opened them, will still be good. So it's probably why we all have gut problems. But so I bought 4 bags because why buy 1 bag for $6?
Now, Martha, I do have to ask, did you buy, because they did just start introducing this in the last month or so I've seen, did you buy just the original Doritos with, the orange or white hue, or did you get the new Simply ones they have, which that became, after we know with RFK, with how he was getting rid of all the food dye.
Yeah.
It's just a plain white color now, and it looks off, but it still tastes the same, though.
That's interesting.
It's
No, I bought
odd.
the one with color. I bought the one with color.
It just looks so inviting, don't
That's why Skittles are on sale everywhere.
You're
because
right,
they got to get rid of what's left. And when they can't do that anymore, and we'll have all brown food. Everything will be brown or white or cream or whatever. But I did get white bread. Again, I got the things the kids liked. Grape jelly. I made sure I had the right kind of peanut butter, because if you don't have the right kind of peanut butter, you're going to get in trouble.
There's about 1 million types to pick from.
Oh, my God. It's so crazy. But anyway, I had a lovely weekend. The kids were great, and they were really well behaved at church. I'm a happy woman when I can go to church with my family. I was like telling my son, honestly, if you didn't ever buy me another thing and you just came here every once in a while and we went to church together, that would be all I need, because we're blessed. We've got everything we need. Lynn and I actually told the kids, if you don't buy us stuff anymore, give something to something in your community. Give to a charity in your community. Do something like that, because we've been blessed. We've worked hard, and we're at the time in our life where we can just enjoy it. I hope you have a great day. We're always here. We're always local. Who was the guy that said he hated that? But anyway, we shall see. We'll be back.